urged his peers to focus on cladding their high-rise buildings with solar panels. Such statements serve only to perpetuate a limited understanding of what architects can and should do. Simultaneously, they heighten anxieties over potential disempowerment or infringement, rather than advocating for expanded forms of practice. Instead of treating buildings as objects in their own terms, as matters of concern, they enter into socially embedded networks in which the consequences of architecture are of much more significance than the object. She calls architecture that goes beyond and strives to make an impact the architecture of relevance. Moving beyond these discussions about architecture, how do we think about and practice design in a way that is truly relevant to the challenges of our time, rather than merely being referential? A holistic knowledge system would encompass, alongside that technical knowledge, self-knowledge. How then do we bridge this knowledge to design? In a world filled with uncertainties, when we collectively shift from knowingness to relevance, our activated attention and empathy can turn conditions of the unknown, the new, the changing, into prompts for humility, curiosity, and possibility.
I would do this at a number of levels. At the business level, how do you approach it as a business? How do you approach it from the public point of view in politics and publications? And how in our design, whether it be at the city level, the building in its context, or the occupants of the building. Richard felt that in order to actually change things socially and otherwise, you need to engage with a broader public. Public transport ring around the city, and a whole range of small interventions to improve the permeability between the banlieue and the center. With the opportunity for creating a new central business district, the financing coming out of that can be used to bridge over the railways, to create parkland and connectivity to the communities on either side of the railway. The key driver, apart from the architecture of the building, was to have a building that did not occupy fully the site, so that half the site we call the piazza, a people's place. The other major urban development is the Barangaroo South Master Plan. Lend-Lease, our client, took the brave decision to say that in order to make a successful development here, you had to have a critical mass. But our intention right from the start was to avoid what typically takes place is a gated community. There you can see the vertical villages, the views, and the way people can be working together. Obviously, the whole advantages of the offsite is speed, far faster build. There's far less disturbance on site because there's no heavy vehicles other than bringing in the modules. And the ability of offsite is to create targets of net zero. And on the Cardiff project, in fact, we are expecting to be net positive.
So with water neutrality concept, we've worked, having studied the prospects of the development, future development of housing in London, and knowing that the target that London has is 10 years. I will show it on the example on the borough of Enfield, where we are, that we could test the impact and opportunities scores in some of the already suggested urban development sites. The second group of projects I would like to talk about are two European projects, UPolis and HARD. Stakeholders, both experts and also citizens and future users of the spaces we are dealing with. is to see this possible nature-based solution, thus to create really inclusive urban spaces and to address the key challenges with environmental quality, water stress, as we saw in other projects, but also to respond on specific local conditions. And how we do it, apart the opening a great potential for interventions that are based on or driven by nature and based on blue-green infrastructure. Technologies that could be nowcasting or could be other technologies for metabolic improvement of water quality tailored for this site. So we have here the Greek demo site we are working, where we can see the combination of different concerns that are then influencing an understanding of severity of each of the concerns and giving us the methodological reading of the possible interventions we can have, and really prior to the detailed analysis give us a support to then going through the further stages of modeling and design and hopefully the realization of the project.
When did you first begin to understand the social impact that design could have?
In the end, it's all back to people and how you engage people in your business.
Thanks. I mean, in my own work, I've certainly noticed an uptick in organizations that are restructuring as community benefit companies or employee-owned trusts or even B Corps. I wondered if, for any of the three of you, you see this as a promising trend, or is it just something that Leonard referred to? Is this just something that consultants are selling?
I think there's one important point that sort of tries to broaden one's responsibilities, is you can only help if you're a successful business.
There is a lot of connection actually between practical and scientific work, more than sometimes we think. Very important, and is just inputting the needs or the concerns of people that are living in the public or surrounding the public spaces where we are dealing, are the focus of our scientific approach. So we build the knowledge of the context that we are dealing with through the dialogue that we are building.
Been trying to preach to my children, and at my age, I've got quite grandchildren at a certain age, that they think very carefully about climate change, because the dramatic changes that are going to occur. I think one of the themes that could go through all these is how we think we can address climate change, because much as we think we might want to reduce it to 1.5 degrees, I unfortunately think there's scant hope that we'll achieve that. If you get 50 centimeters or 75 centimeters of higher water levels, it means several 100,000 people moving from the coast to other places in the country.
This initiative will bring capacity within both sustainability and the science, technology. The last one is that this could be an implementation of sustainable solutions and infrastructure as well in those societies. So this will be a partnership from Ramboll Group, the Ramboll Foundation, and NGOs, non-profit organizations that we can have as partners to have a partnering program and an engagement program for volunteers within Ramboll as well. So I think this is a great opportunity to really step up for this.